Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Justin.
I'm Pat.
So, today I actually got the chance to see New Mutants, finally. Well, we got the chance, I'm sorry. If you're wondering why my video sounds a little bit different, I actually had my main editing computer break on me. So, always have a backup, I guess. So, a little bit more of a low budget one this time around. And your first time on my channel.
Yeah, it's my first time doing something like this.
But back to the movie. So, the first movie in theaters I've seen in months since Bloodshot. I don't think you came with us to see that, did you?
Nah, I worked, I think.
Nah, yeah. So, 7 o'clock, Dolby Cinema. Thought there was going to be posters, but there wasn't. Whatever, I guess some other theaters got that promotional. So anyways, you said you read the comics, right?
I've read issues that I've picked up from Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
Oh, yeah, the Secret Stash and Red Bank. So, the general premise of New Mutants is a girl has a terrible tragedy happen to her. She wakes up in this institution, hospital, what have you, and she finds out that she's being held there against her will, along with a few other, I guess you would say, patients or experiments. So, yeah, something like that. And basically, all of these kids are trying to figure out their powers at the same time they're haunted from the demons of their past. And the whole movie is basically about overcoming that.
Yeah, I mean, they all have their ability. We don't want to get too much away.
No, yeah, I mean, they all do have their abilities and their differences.
Yeah.
What those are, we'll leave you guys to figure that out, because obviously, if this is the first movie you're seeing in months, I want to leave some sort of mystery there. So, that's basically general plot. We have specific mutants. Some of them you may have seen in previous incarnations of live-action X-Men properties before. Others, most of them actually, are brand new. But, like I said, you were familiar with some of the characters. Were they true for the most part, or did they take a lot of liberties?
From what I can remember, they were true. I mean, they didn't have every single one. I guess if they make sequels, which hopefully they do, they'll introduce more.
Yeah. So, as Pat was saying about sequels, it's funny because you have something like this where, if you guys don't know, it's supposed to come out 2018, got delayed to 2019, delayed to April of 2020, and then this whole situation happened. By the way, we did have to wear full masks in the movie theater, and there was no one sitting near us. And I think this is 4 feet. It should be 6. But I think this is the closest I've been with Pat in a while. To Pat, I've been in a while.
I think there was, maybe like 10 people, including us?
Yeah, there was 10 people, not because the movie didn't have a lot of buzz to it. Trust me, it did. But it's just the fact that once I bought a ticket, literally 2 seats to the left and 2 seats to the right, and I believe 2 seats in front and back all got X'd out. So basically, for every 2 tickets bought, 8 seats were crossed off. So I think only 30% of the theater was allowed to be viewing this film. Very sanitary. It caught me a little off guard. I don't know about you. Was it weird going to the movies for the first time in like half a year?
I can't even remember the last movie I saw in theaters.
Yeah. Now, feel free to voice your opinion. Feel free to be as loud as you want in this review, dude. I know it's your first time, so...
I mean, I really liked it. I think, from what I can remember, it was pretty true to the comics. I mean, it did take the liberties there, like the overall plot and what they were going with. I mean, there was no, like, big name. I mean, can we talk about the other mutants?
Yeah, you can talk about... I think it's fair to talk about the other mutants, because obviously they are the new mutants, so that implies there's more than one.
Well, I mean, like, the big name, like... the other, like, X-Men.
What do you mean? Like, are you talking about, aren't the main characters that were in the film, or...
Like, I don't want to give away who's...
That's all right. No, trust me.
Who may or may not be.
Yeah, no, as someone who's been reviewing for a while, like I get where Pat's coming from. So basically, there's the main character, the Russian girl. How do you pronounce her name again? Eliana?
Liliana something.
They said her name a bunch of times, and it's a tongue twister for me, so I probably forgot it, but you've seen her in the trailer. She has blonde hair. She was in the movie Emma, I believe, if you guys haven't seen that one. And she is depicted in the trailers with this sword. Almost, I thought it was a lightsaber first, honestly.
Like a side blade thing.
She's a badass, and her powers, they aren't shy about her powers from the start.
No.
So, it's basically what you see in the trailers, but they do go a little bit more in depth with it in the movie.
Yeah, they start to talk about it a little bit more, and I mean, they do go into the past of everyone a little bit, and of course we have Arya Stark.
Yeah, Maisie Williams. What was her name again? Rain?
Rain Sinclair.
Rain Sinclair, yeah. And she was very cool. It's kind of clear, in my opinion at least, what her power was from the very start of the movie. So there's not too much mystery with her character, but she was a total badass in this movie. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of Maisie Williams. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
I watched the first season, and I mean, she becomes a badass in the later ones.
Yeah, and like I'll be honest, like I could never get into Game of Thrones, but like the scenes with her in it, I did like, and I loved her in Doctor Who. She was in there for a few episodes, and now this. And it sucks because the actors poured their heart and soul into this movie.
And then, of course, there's, I don't know his name, but John Briars from Stranger Things.
Oh, Charlie Heaton.
Yes.
I think that's the actor's name, yeah. Yeah. What did you think of him in this movie? Was it weird hearing him with like a Kentucky Southern accent?
I think he's English in real life, and you know, he has the American accent in Stranger Things, and now he pulls it off good. If I can better, then you know,
yeah,
I didn't even know he was English. I was like, oh, that guy's English.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Like when you hear people like have accents to real life, and you haven't really seen him in anything else. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. But I mean, he played it good.
Yeah, I think it was different for me because in the trailer it kind of looked like he played this dark, gloomy person.
Yeah,
but I feel like he had a little bit of that in this movie, but he definitely had some wit and like charm to him too in this. So, and what's
Roberto?
Roberto, yeah. You read my mind. How did you know that's what I meant?
There's one good thing about there isn't that many characters, so you don't have, there's what, like 6 in total?
Yeah.
So there's not like, you don't have to remember like, oh, who's that and who's that and who's that. So it's like you have your 6 and they're presented like within the first.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, technically there's more because there's, you know, from the beginning that one.
That's true, yeah.
But, you know, I mean, for the most part, you have your 6 main characters right there. And then, you know, so.
It's great for someone like me who has ADHD and is also hard to do discussions like this without jump cutting, as you guys have probably seen in my reviews. So I appreciate Pat for being my cushion here, because otherwise I would be all over the place. So I'm not going to get into my final thoughts yet, but as the movie went on, I definitely loved the horror elements, because I know you're a huge fan of horror, huge fan of Stranger Things. Yeah, and that kind of vibe in general.
Like when you guys go and see it, it's sort of like not like a horror. Like there's not really any slashers or jump scares, but there's like a physiological horror element to it.
Yeah. Which,
I mean, when you go, once again, not to give anything away, once you go and see it, then you'll be like, oh, like that's what they meant.
Oh, like Beavis and Butthead. Oh yeah. I definitely got that. I will say, just to me, for the earlier trailers made it seem very creepy and demonic. And even though
it sort of fits, and I kind of like that they went in that direction, especially because, I mean, after you see it, and then you'll be like, oh, well, that's why they made the trailers that way.
Yeah, I thought I thought it would be a little bit more horror involved. Like it definitely was. There was a lot in there, but I just think, like in the trailer, I think they showed the scene with Charlie Heaton, the guy from he plays the dude from Kentucky in the movie, and Sam, right? Yeah. That's how bad my ADD is. But no, there was that scene where he was like going in near the washing machine or whatever, and they kind of like, I don't know what it was, but in the trailer they made that scene seem like a lot more creepy than it actually was. Like I thought there was, like in the trailer it made it seem like there was something like in the dryer or something like that. But you'll see what happens when you see it. But it's not a bad thing either. It's just that the movie was slightly different than I expected. The cast did a very good job. The budget was $80 million though. Like, did you see a reason why it would be $80 million?
I mean, it is CGI heavy in a lot of parts. I'm gonna guess that's why. I mean, maybe the star's budget.
Yeah, I mean, you got.
I feel like Maisie Williams is probably. I don't really know the rest of them besides Charlie Heaton.
Yeah, Maisie Williams.
But I mean, you have a Game of Thrones star. So.
Yeah, so that's some big money there. I feel like maybe because I know Mulan cost a little bit extra because they had to keep on marketing the film. Even after it was finished, they had to extend marketing because they kept delaying it. So maybe like if there wasn't delays, it would have been like maybe 60 million or 55 million. But ooh, it's gonna be rough.
I mean, I haven't. Have you seen? I mean, I don't really watch TV, but have you seen any TV spots for it?
I mean, I have seen a few TV spots, but it's not a lot. Like if I did, it was originally back in March. Like during the time that the movie theaters were still open, I would see it like in the very beginning of March or the middle of March. They would be hyping up New Mutants.
Yeah, because it was supposed to come out originally in April.
Yeah, but besides online, did you see any advertisements stating that New Mutants would come out today?
Maybe I can add on Facebook or something. Maybe that it was coming
like
out
a sponsored ad or some shit like that.
Something like that, or YouTube maybe something like that.
Yeah. So my overall vibe of this film is. It's better than Dark Phoenix, because Dark Phoenix, you guys heard about the production issues with that, and it turned out to just be a mess with a little bit of interesting plot and character here and there. This definitely executed it better, but I don't know what it was. I just felt like it should have been like 10 to 15 minutes longer. Like certain scenes, there's a scene when, God damn it, Eliana, the Russian girl, or... You guys are going to give me shit for how much I'm butchering her name, but Ariana, I don't know. But anyways, she doesn't really like the main character, Danny, right off the bat, and they're trying to hang out, and she's like, I don't want Danny here or whatever, like, she's not invited. And then it cuts to, like, a second later, they're all having fun and laughing, and obviously, like, if everyone's having fun, like, people can put their differences aside, but, like, I feel like there might have been some sort of thing missing from there, like... I don't know, where they had some sort of chat about sucking it up for the group.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully there's probably is going to be tons of deleted scenes. So.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, maybe they were drunk or something like that and they cut that part out.
I mean, they are teenage.
Yeah, right? They swiped some shit from the institution's head, what would you call her, the head doctor there?
Yeah.
They swiped something from her secret liquor cabinet. My thing that was cool is, the thing I thought that was cool was the institute where they filmed was an actual real institute. I believe it's up north, like above PA in like Massachusetts or Maine or one of those states. I believe they filmed the interior scenes too. And I don't know, like, I think that would be a badass haunted house to go to. Like, we have Eastern State Penitentiary where you can go, and they have Alcatraz where you can tour. I would be down for going to that. I really hope it's not one of those places, you know, where you go into and it's just like, oh, filming 24/7, do not enter, do not pass go, do not collect $200. We have attack dogs. Like
property. Just like people keep trying to go to good old Camp Nobi and see Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Pat was saying people keep trying to go to Camp Nobi Bosco, the Friday the 13th filming location, and there's like...
Don't do it. The ranger there will take your plates and call the police.
Yeah.
you have kids, I'd suggest get them in the Boy Scouts, and then that way you can go to their summer
Yeah,
camp. That's what I did.
Ask your kids about what they thought of it. So, did you think the CGI looked good in the movie?
It looked good. I mean, I didn't have any complaints about it. I'm not too knowledgeable. I know you watch those CGI guys.
Yeah. The VFX artists react, so they like nitpick CGI.
Yes, I know. I know you pointed out all those The Last Jedi scenes from the Rey and Kylo.
Yeah.
Which was like I didn't even notice any of that. So, but I mean, it looked good. It didn't look terrible. I mean, it looked. I was like, oh yeah, that looks like how that.
It looks. I'm guessing you're saying it looks like something that would be in a less than $100 million budget movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe Disney was trying to do reshoots on this too, and then they ended up not doing it. Do you think reshoots would have helped this at all, or were you pretty content with it when it was over?
I mean, just like you said, I would have wished it was a little longer. It was like about an hour and a half, I believe.
Yeah, because he said. I
mean, it flew through pretty good.
There's a giant bear depicted in the trailers. We won't say what it is or how it's involved in the film, but
if you're a fan of the comics, you'll know.
Yeah,
you'll know what it is.
But you were saying the bear is kind of built up, and it has got like 20 issues that involve that or something, right?
Yeah, it appears within like around like the 20 issue mark. I think it's like a little arc, you know, so it's a few issues long, from what I can remember.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess that was probably the most pivotal thing that happened, rather than just them going on like, oh, like they go on adventure this week, and then the next week they're off doing something.
Yeah. So I guess you got to work it in somehow.
Like rather they do like a thing that takes a few issues rather than something that gets resolved in issue 34. All right, well that's it, and then off to the next issue.
So it's like we'll have that little tease, then just kidding. Next one. So. There is no end credit scene with this movie. We stay until the end.
Unfortunately.
There was some footage used in the film. I won't say what the footage is, but pay attention to the end credits right before it ends, and you'll find out where that footage was from.
Yeah, we were surprised. Like, oh, yeah, what does that say?
Yeah, right.
And then we just thought, they're like, oh, yeah, that one scene, that must be it.
Yeah. So that was pretty badass. As far as MCU or X-Men movie continuity, you didn't really say anything, did you?
Yeah, I mean, they make references, but they don't really. I mean, they didn't say, oh, well, like this happened at this time. So
yeah,
they don't mention like Nightcrawler's attack on the
White House.
They don't mention like just as an example, they don't mention stuff like that happened in the other movies. So you can't really.
That's fair. So, I think it definitely was trying to be its own thing. And who knows, maybe when the MCU does this whole Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, they could spin it and maybe Disney could take it over. Although I would still love for Disney to keep that creepy horror vibe. Was this rated R? Or was it PG-13?
Was it? I don't know. I actually never looked that up. I mean, the only thing they could get with PG. I mean, there's not really any. I mean, there's no nudity. There's no. I don't think they cursed at all.
No, there's no F-bombs in the movie that I know of. There's violence, but the violence isn't too brutal.
It's not gory or anything.
It's something you could get away with on Supernatural on the CW, where they show violence and they show some blood at times, but it's not intestines hanging out and shit like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we probably should have checked that out, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely PG-13 material.
So acting wise, everyone did a good job for you.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely acted their part.
Who was your favorite?
I gotta go with Mary Sinclair. She was my favorite in the comics, even before they announced Maisie Williams, but then I'm a big Maisie fan, so...
So she was number one for you?
Yeah.
I loved... it's a tough decision for me. I think Charlie Heaton, Sam...
Yeah.
He's
another one of my favorites in the comics,
His abilities were cool. His backstory, you really felt for him, and they go in depth with the character. That's what I love. In X-Men, you get a lot of backstories for Professor X, Magneto. They do a little bit with Phoenix. But a lot of the other characters, they might have like one quick scene or flash of their backstory, but you don't like
Yeah,
feel.
so they don't really flush it out.
Yeah, they don't really flesh it out. But I feel like that's a part of what brought all these characters together at the end. Like they could relate to one another.
Yeah, they all had pasts that were pretty.
They're pretty dark and traumatic, to say the least.
Yeah.
But yeah, Charlie Heaton's character, Sam, he was fun. He was badass. The horror scenes with him were really cool, and he knew how to wiggle his way out of dark situations. And that accent, too. It's just like, I don't know what it is. When you hear a southern accent on someone, it just makes that character that much more interesting.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. I'll let you go in, Pat.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I wish it was just a little bit longer. I guess maybe if like the reshoots, maybe they have to cut it down some. But other than that, I really hope they continue with it. I'm excited to see more. I hope it doesn't take as long.
Yeah.
Because when did they actually finish filming?
They finished filming, I believe, in 2017. Don't quote me on that or anything like that, but I know it was at least like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I love the original marketing for this. They play like the "We don't need no education." Like, that was cool. I thought there was going to be more like song like music in the movie, but I believe there's only like one or two songs that were actual like artist songs and not like orchestral instrumental. Yeah. But no, I agree with Pat. I would actually give it an 8 out of 10. There was decent enough CGI for a film or less than 100 million. The actors did a good job. The horror vibes were cool. The backstories for the characters were cool. The powers and the final fight was badass.
Oh yeah.
You finally got to see the team harmonize and just focus on what the main goal was, and once you see them flow together, everything just kind of sets itself into place.
They start to work as the New Mutants.
Yeah,
team.
The New Mutants. There they are. So yeah, I think that's what I'm closing on. Is there anything else you want to say before I end this?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining me, Pat. I mean, I'm glad. We always end up going to the movies all the time. This is the first time Pat's talked on a review for me, and I appreciate it too for one of my lower budget ones. But you're always welcome back, man.
Thanks.
So there you have it, guys. The New Mutants was a pretty good film. It's not as good as certain X-Men movies, in my opinion, like X2 or Days of Future Past. But it definitely stood on its own, and I think it still wipes the bad taste out of the viewer's mouth from Dark Phoenix, or hell, even X-Men Apocalypse. So, underwhelmed ever so slightly, but still overall solid film. We both agreed. 8 out of 10. So guys, thanks for watching.